Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Today, we're diving into something close to my heart: resilience. The power to rise above, to keep going when the world says no. We all have dreams, aspirations, but life throws curveballs. It tests our resolve. And it's in those moments, those defining moments, that our true character shines through. Today, we're diving into the stories of 10 famous individuals who faced significant setbacks before achieving incredible success. Think about it. What if they had given up? Get ready to be inspired, because their stories are a testament to the human spirit. A reminder that within each of us lies the strength to overcome any obstacle and achieve our own unique version of greatness. Let's start with a man synonymous with innovation, Thomas Edison. Now, we all know him as the genius behind the light bulb. But his journey wasn't all sunshine and bright ideas. Imagine young Thomas told he was too stupid to learn in school. His mother, a true angel, pulled him out and homeschooled him, nurturing his curious mind. This, my friends, is the power of belief. But it didn't stop there. Edison went on to face countless failed experiments. Thousands, you hear me? Thousands. But did he let that dim his spirit? Not a chance. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." See, that's the thing about resilience. It reframes failure. It turns setbacks into stepping stones. Next, we journey to a world of imagination. A world built on the dreams of a man named Walt Disney. Walt, a man who dared to make us believe in magic, faced a major blow early in his career. He poured his heart and soul into creating a character we all know and love, Mickey Mouse. But can you believe a distributor told him Mickey was a ridiculous idea and would never be popular? Devastated? Absolutely. Defeated? Never. Walt held on to his vision, even when others couldn't see it. He knew deep down that Mickey had the power to capture hearts. And look at him now. Mickey Mouse, an icon, a symbol of joy for generations. Walt's story reminds us that sometimes the most magical ideas are the ones we have to fight for the most. Now let's talk about a woman who spun a world of magic from the thread of her own struggles, J.K. Rowling. Imagine being a single mother, facing financial hardship, yet holding on to a dream, a story, a world that lived so vividly in your imagination. That was J.K. Rowling's reality. She wrote the first Harry Potter book in cafes, using the warmth of a cup of tea to combat the chill in her bones and the chill of uncertainty. Rejection after rejection from publishers could have easily extinguished that spark of magic, but Rowling held on. You see, what kept her going wasn't some grand plan or a guarantee of success. It was the simple act of creation, the joy of giving life to characters and stories that resonated deep within her soul. She believed in the power of her own imagination, and that belief fueled her journey. And look at the phenomenon that blossomed from that seed of faith. Harry Potter became a global sensation, captivating the hearts of children and adults alike. J.K. Rowling's story reminds us that sometimes the most extraordinary journeys begin in the most ordinary of places, fueled by the extraordinary power of belief in oneself. Next, we turn our attention to a visionary who dared to think different, Steve Jobs. From his early days tinkering in a garage to revolutionizing the world of technology, Jobs' journey was anything but conventional. He faced setbacks, made mistakes, and even experienced the sting of rejection from his own company. Can you imagine pouring your heart and soul into something only to be shown the door? That's exactly what happened to Steve Jobs. But here's the thing about setbacks. They have the power to break us or make us. Steve Jobs chose the latter. He didn't see failure as the end, but rather as a detour on the road to success. He used those experiences as fuel, learning from his mistakes and emerging stronger, more determined. Jobs' unwavering belief in his vision, his relentless pursuit of innovation, and his ability to turn setbacks into opportunities are what set him apart. He taught us that the path to greatness is rarely linear, and that embracing the bumps in the road can lead to the most incredible destinations. My own journey hasn't been without its share of challenges. I've experienced the sting of prejudice, the pain of abuse, and the weight of societal expectations. But through it all, I held on to the belief that our deepest wounds can become our greatest sources of strength. I remember being told that a young black girl from rural Mississippi wouldn't make it in television. But something inside me, a fire, a determination, refused to accept that narrative. I knew I had a story to tell, a voice that deserved to be heard. And so I pushed forward, using my experiences to connect with others, to amplify marginalized voices, and to create a platform where authenticity and vulnerability were celebrated. It wasn't always easy, but with each challenge I learned, I grew, and I discovered the power of resilience. Each setback, each obstacle became an opportunity to redefine myself, to rewrite my story. And that, my friends, is the beauty of the human spirit. Our ability to transform pain into purpose and emerge from the fire stronger, wiser, and more empowered than ever before. When we talk about success, we often think about the championships, the awards, the standing ovations, and Michael Jordan, well, he had all of that and more. He's an icon. But what's truly inspiring about Michael isn't just the heights he reached, but the way he rose every time he fell. Imagine being a young Michael, full of fire and passion for the game, only to be cut from your high school varsity team. Can you imagine the sting of that rejection? The doubt that might creep in? But Michael, he didn't let that define him. He used it as fuel. He practiced harder, pushed himself further, and let that experience mold him into the legend we know today. He understood that the path to success isn't a straight line to the finish. It's about learning from every setback, every missed shot, every obstacle. Michael's story reminds us all that it's not about how many times you fall, but about how many times you find the strength to get back up, dust yourself off, and keep reaching for your dreams. Because, honey, the world is filled with people who have talent, but it's the unwavering belief in yourself that truly sets you apart. Now let's talk about a mind that changed the world, Albert Einstein. When we think of Einstein, we envision a brilliant physicist, a Nobel laureate, a man whose very name is synonymous with genius. But what many people don't realize is that Einstein's path to greatness wasn't paved with early accolades. In fact, young Albert was often seen as a slow learner. He didn't speak fluently until he was almost 9 years old, and he struggled in a rigid school system that didn't nurture his unique way of thinking. Can you imagine being told you're not smart enough, not fast enough, when you have a universe of ideas swirling inside you? But here's the thing about true brilliance. It doesn't always fit neatly into a box. Einstein's curiosity, his relentless questioning, his ability to see the world differently, those were the seeds of his genius. And while others might have seen his struggles as limitations, he saw them as opportunities for exploration. Einstein's story is a powerful reminder that success doesn't always follow a predictable timeline. It's about nurturing your passions, embracing your individuality, and trusting that your own unique journey will lead you to extraordinary places. Now let's talk about an artist whose work continues to move us profoundly, even though he never lived to see his own success. Vincent van Gogh. Van Gogh's paintings, with their vibrant colors and expressive brushstrokes, are instantly recognizable today, masterpieces that hang in museums around the world. But during his lifetime, he was largely unrecognized and unappreciated. Imagine pouring your heart and soul into your art, facing rejection after rejection, and struggling to sell even a single painting. Van Gogh's life was marked by poverty, loneliness, and a constant struggle with mental health. It's a heartbreaking reality that many artists, even the most brilliant ones, face even today. But here's the thing about true artistry. It comes from a place deep within, a place of raw emotion and unwavering passion. Van Gogh's paintings weren't just pretty pictures. They were a reflection of his soul, his struggles, and his unique way of seeing the world. Van Gogh's story reminds us that true art is about expressing your truth, even when it's difficult, even when it feels like no one understands. It's about staying true to your vision, even in the face of adversity. And sometimes the greatest masterpieces are born from the darkest of times. Now let's talk about a man who knows a thing or two about fear itself, Stephen King. Before he became the master of horror, he was a young man with a dream, just like all of us. He'd spend hours hunched over his typewriter, crafting stories that would chill you to the bone. But the path to success is rarely paved with acceptance letters, isn't it? In fact, Stephen King received a pile of rejections for his early work, particularly for his novel Carrie. Can you imagine being told your words weren't good enough, that your stories weren't scary enough? But here's the thing about Stephen King and about all the incredible souls we've talked about today. He didn't let those rejections define him. He didn't let them dim his passion or extinguish his fire. He kept writing, kept believing in his stories, and eventually the world took notice. So the next time you face a setback, remember Stephen King and that stack of rejection letters. Remember that rejection is just a redirection, a chance to refine your craft and come back even stronger. Our final story today takes us back in time to a log cabin in the heartland of America, where a young Abraham Lincoln spent his days reading by candlelight. He had a thirst for knowledge, a yearning for something bigger than himself. But his journey, much like the nation he would one day lead, was fraught with challenges. Lincoln faced defeat after defeat in his early political career. He lost elections, faced financial ruin, and experienced personal tragedies that would have broken a lesser man. But through it all, he held on to his ideals, his belief in the power of unity and equality. He understood that failure wasn't the opposite of success. It was a stepping stone on the path towards it. Each setback, each obstacle only strengthened his resolve, deepened his empathy, and fueled his desire to serve the American people. Abraham Lincoln's story reminds us that greatness is not defined by a lack of setbacks, but by how we rise above them. It's about holding on to our values, our vision, even in the face of adversity. From Thomas Edison's relentless pursuit of the light bulb to Abraham Lincoln's unwavering belief in a united nation, we've journeyed through the lives of 10 remarkable individuals who turned setbacks into stepping stones. They stumbled, they fell, but they never allowed failure to have the final word. Their stories are a testament to the power of resilience, the importance of perseverance, and the unwavering spirit that resides within each and every one of us. So the next time you face a challenge, remember their journeys. Remember their strength. If you found these stories inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Create That Life for more motivational content. Because your journey to success is just beginning, and I'll be here to cheer you on every step of the way.